Bonjour classe et bienvenue en français 1. Au français 1, c'est la révision pour l'interrogation 1. Et cette interrogation sera lundi ou mardi pour les cours de français premier niveau. So, guys, welcome to French 1. Welcome back to French 1. This is your revision or your review for what we call interrogation. These are called interrogation, and they are quizzes. Okay, so we have our first quiz, l'interrogation 1, l'interrogation 1, and it will be on Monday, lundi, or Tuesday, mardi. And white 1 and white 3 classes will take this quiz on Monday, and blue 2 will take this quiz on Tuesday. So let's go ahead and get started for the review, pour la révision. La révision sera pour la première chapitre, et c'est chapitre 1 sur le d'accord workbook, or book, textbook. And we will go over vocabulary, la vocabulaire. We will go over les conversations, conversations. We'll also cover nouns and articles. Remember those definite and indefinite, masculine, feminine, plural articles. And it will also cover alphabet, l'alphabet. Okay? So here we go. Let's jump into it. The first one, we're going to be talking about, I'm going to skip myself over. We're going to be talking about the first part of our chapter, which is the vocabulary that has to do with the question ça va. Que veut dire ça va? Que veut dire ça va? Ça va, ça veut dire how are you? Very good. We'll go vocabulaire. La vocabulaire, bonsoir, good evening, à bientôt, à demain. Bonne journée and au revoir. These are our greetings, hello and goodbyes. Our responses to the question ça va is comme ci, comme ça, so. Je vais bien, je vais mal. And then moi aussi, me too. Comment t'appelles-tu? Familiar way of asking what is your name. And then we also have comment vous appelez-vous? Comment vous appelez-vous? And that is our way of asking how are you formally or to a group of people. I'm going to open up really quickly sticky notes so that we can make sure that we keep a good track on, let's do new note. I'll close these out. Just 1 second. So we'll look at the ways to ask how are you, formalities. It's very important as well. Remember that when we're talking about how are yous and things like that, when we say how are you to someone who's formal, like the president of France, we're not going to walk up to him and go, yo, dude, what's your name? That makes no sense whatsoever. We have to be formal, we have to be respectful. So comment t'appelles-tu is a question that I would ask you. Yes, but if you were asking me what my name is, it would be comment vous appelez-vous? Okay, comment vous appelez-vous? The way that we remember formality is this vous here, yes? We also remember plurality, which is plural, by also the vous as well. Because it's easy to be plural, it's easy to tell that you're talking to a group of people, and it's easy to be formal and respectful, yes? It's actually harder to be disrespectful, don't you think? All right. So, comment t'appelles-tu and comment vous appelez-vous? Those are our two questions for how are you. We also have comment ça va? How are you? And then we've got comment allez-vous? Those both are questions asking how are you? Comment ça va? And comment allez-vous? Cool? All right, here we go. I'm going to close this note out. I'm going to let you guys actually go through the vocabulary. The good thing is on my Quizlet set, if we go over to Quizlet, I'm going to close myself out really quick. Let's go over to Quizlet really quick. I'm going to log in. No, you cannot have my password. I'm just kidding. I don't even know my password. Hold on 1 second. Goodness gracious, update the password. Okay, here we go. D'accord 1, our structures for our vocabulary right here. This is our vocabulary for D'accord 1. So if you go and if you search for my name, for Madame Dignon, you will see all of my Quizlet sets, and this is a great way for you to practice your vocabulary. Okay? All right. So we're going to continue on. One of the things that I want you to do in your book, on page 4, actually, is a great practice for your quiz. Actually, on your interrogation, on your quiz, this is a lot like what it's going to look like. I'm going to give you a phrase, and you would tell me what phrase you would respond with. So the first one here says, Salut, je m'appelle François, et toi, comment t'appelles-tu? How would we respond to that? How would we respond to that? What would be a way that we would say, what would be something that we would respond to this? He says, Salut, je m'appelle François, et toi, comment t'appelles-tu? Okay, the response would be, je m'appelle, let me make this larger, je m'appelle, right? Okay. What about this question here? This question he's asking, ça va? What would be a way that we could respond to that? There are several responses. We could say, comme ci, comme ça. Comme ci, comme ça, that's a good way. We could say, ça va mal. That's a sad thing. Or we could say, ça va bien. That's a good thing, yes? Okay, so those are ways that we could respond to that question. Conversation number 2 begins with a blank. So you get to fill in the blank based on what that person's response was. Now, the person responded by saying, comme ci, comme ça, et vous? So, do you see this et vous here? Que veut dire et vous? What does et vous mean? Okay, you need to figure that one out. Et vous, what does that mean? Que veut dire et vous? And what question would we have here that would result in a response that is comme ci, comme ça? Et vous? I would go with, if it's me picking my question, it would be comment allez-vous? Right? Would I ask this if I know that et vous is here? Would I say ça va? Tell me why I wouldn't say ça va. Why would I not say ça va? Bon. Well, bon means well. À demain. How do I say goodbye at this point? How would I say goodbye? À demain. Que veut dire à demain? What does à demain mean? What would be the response that I would say for that? Okay, so we're going to go through and move on because I don't want this video to be crazy long, but practice this discuter section. You might want to write this out. This would be a great thing to practice with maybe your mom or your dad. Show them how awesome you are. It's true. You know it. All right. If we move down, let me ask you this. How would I greet Madame Colombier? How would I greet Madame Colombier? Would this be a chest bump type situation, or would this be a formal situation? You tell me, how would I greet this person? How would I greet Mademoiselle Estevez? How would I greet Mademoiselle Estevez? Okay. How would I greet Monsieur Marchand? You can tell what Monsieur Marchand does, but how would I greet him? Let's see here. How would I greet Marie, Guillaume, and Geneviève? Now, you can't really see the picture very well, but we're talking about a family here. A grandmother, a grandson, and a granddaughter. How would I greet each one of those people? And then how would I ask them, how are they? Okay, let's do this. A good way to practice, again, this is not a homework situation, but a good way to practice would be to write out the conversations. Okay, write out conversations that you might have with these people. I'll give you a perfect example. Here we go. Let's look at, if I'm looking at trying to get in touch or trying to have a conversation with maybe Monsieur Marchand. We can actually put Monsieur Marchand in the same position as me. We would say, Bonjour, Monsieur Marchand. And Monsieur Marchand might say, Bonjour, ça va? Okay, so he is asking you a question. You would respond by saying, Ça va bien. Merci. Et vous? Comment allez-vous? What am I asking there? Monsieur Marchand might respond by saying, Je vais bien. Merci. There's a conversation. Bonjour, Monsieur Marchand. Bonjour, ça va? Ça va bien, merci. Et vous? Comment allez-vous? Je vais bien, merci. You see how that works? Now, what if I wanted to greet my friend Marie? I might say, instead of saying bonjour, I might say, and we're talking about Marie down here in the photo, Salut Marie. I might say, Comment vas-tu? Comment vas-tu? And Marie might say, Ça va. Merci. Et toi? And you might say, let's see here. Ça va mal. And then that's it. There's your conversation. So do you hear the informality versus the formality? It's really important to pay close attention to that. All right, let's move on really quick. I do have something to show you very quickly. I'm going to close this out. I don't want to save it. I'm going to show you a quick picture, and this is going to help you out with your articles. Now, the articles that we're going to work on right now, let me get over to your page. I believe it's on page 10. Yes, it is. The nouns and the articles that we have that we've learned so far. Here's my desktop. Let me grab that screenshot really fast. All right, here we go. Let's make this large. I want to look at this really quick without me here. All right, we have definite articles and we have indefinite articles. Remember that when I was talking to you about the definite articles, we're talking about the. And the difference would be if I'm saying the tables in the garage versus a table in the garage. Here's an example. Let's say that Abby's aunt asks her to go out to the garage and pick up a table. Does Abby know which table she's supposed to get? Just by that phrase, hey Abby, go out and get a table out of the garage. Does she know which one it is? Does she know, anything about it? No, it's not definite. It's an indefinite item. Now, if Abby's aunt says, hey Abby, go out to the garage and get the table, that indicates that there's a definitiveness with that table. And so that's why we want to look at this. Our masculine definite article is le. Répétez après moi, le. Our feminine definite article is la. Le, la. And then if we have a word or a noun that begins with a vowel sound, we're going to use l, l', because our vowels cannot be side by side, so we have that apostrophe there. We're also going to use that for the letter H, any word that begins with the letter H. And then, of course, we have our plurals, and that is lay. So we've got le, la, l, and lay. It's very important to remember that these definite articles all represent the article the. The difference between English and French is that English uses the, whether or not it's singular, plural, and of course we do not have gender specific nouns. So singular or plural, we're still going to use the in English. However, we have 4 forms of the word the in French. Le, la, l, and lay. We do not pronounce that S at this point. Now our indefinite articles all stand for a or an. A or an. And we pronounce this one, indefinite article for masculine is Our feminine indefinite article is une. Une. And remember the analogy that I gave you about boxing versus singing a tune. This is a very masculine sound, right? And then we've got feminine, which is une, as if I'm singing a tune. We don't worry about the vowel sounds here because our N kind of makes a liaison between the vowels. So if we had the word hamburger, which you know begins with the letter H, we would say un hamburger. And then for our plural, we have the article day, and this means some. So we have a, an, or some, and that's for our indefinite articles. Okay, so what you want to do is when you go over here into your book, a great way to study would be to go through these exercises here. Exercise number 1, if I wanted to say l'actrice and I wanted to turn that into plural, I would say les actrices, L-E-S, L-E-S. So I would say l'actrice, make it a little bit larger, l'actrice to les actrices. And I'm going to add an S at the end of my noun. I'll give you another one. Let's go down to number 5 here. Le bureau. Le bureau. And I want to make that plural. Now, if we look at the bottom of this page, remember that we can't just add an S here to a word that ends in E-A-U. We actually have to add an X. So it would be les bureaux. Les bureaux. L'actrice, les actrices. Le bureau, les bureaux. Okay? Let's see here. What if I have les bibliothèques? Les bibliothèques, and I want to make that singular. I would say la bibliothèque. There we go. This is a great way to practice for our definite articles here. Okay, last but not least, our indefinite articles. If we move over, I want to say it's on page 11 at the bottom. We have our indefinite articles here. Un instrument is an instrument. Une table, a table. And then if I want to make that plural, des instruments comes into some instruments. Des tables, some tables. If I were you, I would consider reworking the SAA section on the bottom of page 11. That would be a great practice. And then let's look at the alphabet really quick. There's only a couple of quick little things that I want to talk to you about with the alphabet. We worked over the sounds that are here. We've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Those are our alphabet. It's the same letters that we have in English. Nothing changes. We do have accents that we add to our letters to change up. They influence how they sound. However, that's not on the quiz yet. That's something that I want to go over with you guys a little bit more in depth because at one point, I want to say it's after second semester, the accents will count a lot. Okay, so it's super, super important. So what I will do on your quiz is we will actually practice, not practice, but I will spell something out and you will write it out on your quiz. Last but not least, I wanted to show you this cool website. We'll go to the Abon website to access it, but when we're talking about alphabet, this is the 8th grade book that we use for exploratory French, but they have awesome exercises for you in French. And let's see, here we go. This is the one I like. This is my favorite one. because it's got cool little pictures and stuff like that. I'm a dork when it comes to things like that. I can't help myself. So here's the alphabet. The cool thing is I'm going to turn my volume up so that you can hear. If you click on each one of these, you will hear the actual sound of the alphabet.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Super, super cool. And then if you go back over to the index, we have exercises that we get to do. So you get to listen.
E, E.
What letter is she asking for here? Is it this letter or this letter? You decide. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is this letter. Pretty nifty, right? Okay, so that's a really, really great website, and it is lexicflay.fr. Anyway, I'll copy it and paste it, and I'll make sure it's on the blog, but this is the website, and I'll make it really, really big. Oh, I'll make the whole thing really, really big. There we go, and that way you can pull it up, okay? All right, so hopefully that will help you guys out a lot with the alphabet. This will only be a listening section of your quiz, but like I said, I really kind of hope it helps you out. If there's anything that you need, if you have any questions, you should already know right now to email me, right? But it's super, super cool and super important. White 1 and White 3 quiz. Students, you guys have page 3 and 4 in your workbook. Make sure those are done before you come in for your quiz because that's going to help you out on your quiz. And then blue 2, yours is actually due, I think, on Friday. But don't quote me on that. Just check RenWeb. Okay, RenWeb will be able to give you all the information you need. If you have any questions, email me. Let me know what I can do for you. And bon weekend. Enjoy the weekend. It's going to be a beautiful one. Enjoy it. I'm going to head out to my dad's house, my mom and dad's house, and celebrate his birthday. He's old. He's 65. Really old. I'm just kidding. He's not that old. He's like me. He ages well. I'm just kidding. You guys have a great one. Bon weekend and à lundi. Au revoir.